Let us start looking at the topic, relations, functions, and graphs. In this video, we will look at what is meant by a relation, as well as terms associated with relations, including domain, range, mapping, and the arrow diagram. Now, what is a relation? Well, according to the second edition of Mathematics, a Complete Course, Volume 1, written by Raymond Tulsi, a relation is defined as a set of ordered pairs that obeys a particular rule. Now, let us look at what an example of that would be. Suppose you have a set of rules that says an answer y will be obtained from a number x plus 3. Now, in this case, what you do is put in the value of x and say x, suppose x is equal to 5. Then what you have to do is say 5 plus 3. This is the rule. And what you get out for y is 8. So you have a relationship between them, right? Now, let's look at what is meant by this ordered pair. To represent the ordered pair, we have pairs of numbers in a bracket. Let's say we put in x as 1. What do we get out for y? We put a comma here. 1 plus 3 is 4. Then we have another set, another pair, 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. Remember, the first number, going from left to right, the first number is our x and the second number is our y. We have a 3. As we add 3 to 3, we get 6. You see that? 3 plus 3 is equal to 6, just like how 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Now, what we have here is our set of ordered pairs. They are in pairs because you have one number here and the other number here inside the bracket. You have one here and one here inside the bracket. One here and one here inside the bracket. So these are in pairs, all right? Now, they must be in order because you cannot then switch this around and say 4, 1 and continue with 2, 5. These would not be in order. And they would not obey the rule either. Because if you put 4 for x, then you say 4 plus 3, you will not get 1. Alright? So, these are not ordered pairs. They must be in the right order. And that goes for these 3 brackets. Now, the relation is showing what happens to the first number to get the second number. How the first number is related to the second number is that the first number is added to 3 and you get the second number. Alright? Now remember, this was our equation that we started out with to show what happened to the first number to get the second number. Now, when you have the first number put there, in this case 1, you input 1. What you put there is called the range. And then what you get out of the relation is called the, no, I'm sorry, I'm mixing them up. What you put into the relation is called the domain, right? And then what you get out of the relation, what the relation puts out, the output is called the range. One way you can try to remember which is which is to say the number that you put in there is going to determine what happens at the output. So the first number will dominate what happens after. So you have dominate, domain. Alright? That's the domain. In this case, 2 is the domain and 5 is the range because I put in 2 and get out 5. 3 is the domain and 6 is the range in this case. So that happens because I put in 3 and get out 6. So these are the ordered pair. You put in what is on the left and get out what is on the right. Don't switch them around. Now, one way to say that you put in one number and you get out the next number is to say, for example, the number that is represented by x, and you have an arrow going to the right, and you say x plus 3. What you're saying here is x is mapped onto x plus 3. Alright? So this little arrow here, it means is mapped onto x plus 3. What that means, you put in the x and you map it onto 4, which is x plus 3. You put in your 2, so you put in 1, it is mapped onto 4. You put in 2, it is mapped onto 5. You put in 3, it is mapped onto 6, because the number on the left is mapped onto the number on the right, and what happened was the number on the left plus 3 gives you the number on the right. So you see that. Now let us see how you might represent this using a diagram. Let me do a bit of erasing. I'm going to need the space here. Alright. Now, you can use a diagram to represent this mapping. Let me use blue for these diagrams. You're going to have in this number, in this oval, 1, 2, 3. The numbers that are here are they represent the domain. Then over to the right, you have another oval, and what you have here, you have 4, 5, 6. Now, these values over here, you call them the range. Now, you want to show which number maps onto which? So you say 1 is mapped onto 4. 2 is mapped onto 5. 3 is mapped onto 6. This number is what you call the arrow diagram, and it shows a mapping of one set of number onto the next set of number, a mapping of the domain onto the range. So there we have it. We have our arrow diagrams here, and this x arrow x plus 3 is one way to write down a mapping relation. All right? You're familiar by now with equations, y equal x plus 3, but when it comes to relation, functions, and graph, we might write it in this way. X is mapped onto x plus 3, and then we have our ordered pairs. They must be in order. The domain on the left, that's the input, and the output, which is the range, on the right. And they are in pairs inside the brackets. All right. So you see that. Now, what we're going to do next time is look at what is called the function, which is a particular type of relation. But for now, we'll break at this point and we continue in the next video.